I want to start by thanking Turning Green for choosing Summer and I as finalists. Our journey through Project Green Challenge was full of profound change, and I'm just so glad to have the opportunity to come to California and share our experience with you guys. Summer and I actually met through our shared love of sustainable agriculture. We came together on a project. She was the head of our sustainability club, and I was the president of our school's organic garden. And we were working to bring international and local students out to a nearby organic farm. Sustainability is a concept that needs to be in the forefront of humanity's collective consciousness. Never in our humanity have we been in a situation as ominous as our current state. John Rulek's talk last night profoundly affected me in summer. He threw out a statistic that his theory is that we're going to lose 90% of our biodiversity in the next 40 years. And that just hit me in summer like a train. I mean, it was intense. Like, we went in the hotel room and just like, we had to like talk it out. We seriously didn't know what to do about that. Luckily, my friend sent me a video of like a cute chameleon trying to pop bubbles, and we got excited. And then now we're like, oh yeah, the Earth's beautiful and we need to save it. So we're back on track. Sustainability, it's not an end goal, but it's an ever-evolving continuum by which we gauge our actions. As we progress through PGC, we begin to view our own lives through this lens. With each challenge, we gain more insight into the impact our simple actions can have on those around us and the world. Summer and I both came into PGC with a background in sustainable agriculture. As a society, we take food for granted. Never in our history have we been so separated from what we eat, and this has led to an overwhelming number of problems. So, if I had a cookie and I gave you 2% of the cookie, would you feel that important? Probably not. 2% of America is currently involved in agriculture. 2% of America is currently involved in agriculture, and I have no idea why. I chose to get involved in sustainable agriculture through a long, thought-out series of conclusions based on observations that I made in the real world. Conclusion 1, plants are awesome. So it's summer. Picture yourself in a park, hot day. Maybe you're running around, you're working out, doing whatever you do. How nice is that? That's where you want to be. You want to be under that nice big tree, getting the cool shade. Well, it turns out you can put trees next to your house, and they cool your house. You don't even have to pay to heat it or pay to cool it. They just do it. And then look, in the winter, all the leaves fall off, and the sunlight comes in, and it warms your house. It's perfect. Conclusion 2, plants are carbon sponges. There were a lot of talks yesterday really emphasizing the importance of storing carbon in the soil. And this is so basic. Like, come on, guys. Like, this is like freshman biology. Plants are literally made of carbon that they take out of the atmosphere, and then they die, and then the carbon's not in the atmosphere anymore. It's just really basic. And right now, 87% of man-made CO2 is made by burning fossil fuels. And it's like the reason they're there is from dead plants. And we're interrupting these ecosystems that put the fossil fuels there in the first place, so we can't build more. We're just screwing up this whole cycle. So my third and final conclusion, where'd it go? Is that our food system has it wrong. And this is definitely something I wouldn't have been able to arrive at had I not been fortunate enough to come out to the Grange Farm School just a few hours north of here in Willits, California, and meet this awesome girl, Ruthie King, who is the project manager there. And I mean, I just had my mind blown. Almost everything we ate at the farm school, we grew. And the difference in quality compared to what I've typically been eating, it was just so profound. You just know there's something powerful when you pick a tomato off the vine and eat it. And it's like, I just want to share that experience with people. It's like, people, if you never had a vine-ripened tomato, like, that's step one. It's like, there's 1 million tomatoes. Like, there's so much to people are just not experiencing with our food system. And it just blows my mind. And people are really missing out. So, why I'm an ag? I love plants. I see that they can be used to store carbon. And I had become like a local food junkie. Like, once you have fresh food, there's just no going back. I had to be in control of the supply. So when people think of agriculture, they mostly picture farmers growing food to feed people, when in reality, this really isn't the case all the time. America's #1 crop is corn. We grow so much corn. Drive through the Midwest. The corn we grow takes up an area the size of California. So just get rid of California and replace it with corn. That's what we're doing to the world. And here's what we're doing with the corn. We're not even eating it. Look, we got 9% going to poultry, 8% going to hogs, cow, dairy, ethanol. Corn's not even a good source for ethanol. We could be growing potatoes, and they're literally 5 times more efficient at producing ethanol than corn. It's just ridiculous. It's because of these subsidies we have, but that's a whole other thing. So back to the 2%. Why? This stuff's important. Plants trap carbon. Why are only 2% of our population involved in agriculture? I find it infuriating that diet-related diseases are the leading causes of death in our country, when we have more than enough ability to grow food to feed people healthy and nutritious. Instead, farmers' efforts are focused on growing this over-subsidized food that just doesn't do any good. It's hurting the earth. It's taking carbon out of the soil so we can feed it to cows or turn it into gasoline to run our cars, when in reality, we need to be keeping that carbon there. So how do we grow sustainable agriculture? What's the solution? How do we fix this? I have a really simple idea, and I'm a big fan of simple ideas. I just like to keep things simple. You talk to farmers, people think of farmers like these really hardworking people. The best farmers are they're trying to figure out the easy way to do something hard. And so if you want to get people into agriculture, you got to give them some incentives. And that's where my idea comes in that I want to share with you. It's called FarmBook. It's an app that I'm currently working to develop, and what it is it's a digital online marketplace for farmers. It acts as a directory to connect people with their local agriculture systems. What you'll be able to do as a farmer is create a profile. You'll be able to tell people a little bit about yourself, your practices, whether you're organic, whether you're doing sustainable agriculture, your history. Tell your story. You can say how you market, where you market. Do you market on your farm? Do you go to a farmer's market? Are you in the local grocery store? Are you at a restaurant? You can say what you sell. Do you sell tomatoes, cucumbers, spinach, corn? Here's a quick mock-up of what we think it would look like. We used Tricycle Farm. It's this local community farm in our area. They do so much great work for our community, and we love partnering up with them and getting involved with them. And so what this app would enable people to do is to connect with their local agriculture system, which is something that is so limited. The way people get food is they go to the grocery store. But the food in the grocery store, it's coming from here. It's coming from California. You go to Arkansas, you're getting tomatoes that were grown in California or Florida, mostly California and Florida. So what this does is it cuts out the middleman. Consumers will be able to search for local food, whether it's by product or by location. So if you want tomatoes, you punch in tomatoes. And so then a list is going to come up with local farms that grow tomatoes. And you can pick one. You can zoom on the farm. And it's like, well, what kind of tomatoes do you grow? Maybe you grow these Cherokee Purples. They're awesome. Or these Yellow Romas. They look really cool. So they're really good. And you can also search by distance. So it's, I want a tomato from down the street. I want a tomato within 10 miles. So then you punch that in. And then a map comes up. And look, there's Tricycle Farm, there's our house. You just go right there. And so what this app is going to do is it's going to cut the middleman out. The USDA reported in 2000 that for every dollar that's spent on food, 18 cents goes to the farmer. 18 cents. This completely eliminates that. It allows the farmer to connect directly to consumers, which is, it puts the power in the hands of the farmer and takes it out of these businessmen, out of the corporations who would seek to exploit the people who are actually doing the hard work. This isn't an idea for this year or the year after. This is about giving people the tools to change our food system one sale at a time. It allows farmers more flexibility to cut out the middlemen of their operation and gives consumers real choice in where they spend their money and what they eat. All in all, it's a win for farmers, fresh food, and the earth, which benefits from responsible agricultural practices. Sustainability is a threefold concept: social, economic, and environmental. As we as a society shift from conventional to conscious, we must embrace ideas that support this triple bottom line. Rebuilding our soil's health will take time. It will take time to achieve true sustainability. Wes Jackson, founder of the Land Institute, wrote that, "If your life's work can be accomplished in your lifetime, you're not thinking big enough." And as leaders in the push for a sustainable future, we should all keep this in mind. Dramatic change does not occur instantly, but is the culmination of many small actions. Project Green Challenge gives us the glimpse into how we as students can begin to make these changes one thoughtful action at a time. As I move into my final semester in college, I look forward to making my small impact on the world in the hopes that it'll be better for my efforts. Thank you.